Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Yes.
Yeah, man, Subway Series. It's us against them, yeah? Yeah, they got their team and all. But here in the Boogie Down, we got our team. We got our captain. We got savages. Yeah, man, we got our legends. History in the concrete and pinstripes in our DNA. And we got rivals, too. Close enough to hear them talk. But that's all it is. So start spreading the news, because the Subway Series is in full swing.
On a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Queens, big crowd expected at Citi Field, where it is time for baseball. As the Yes Network presents the Hyundai Sunday Game of the Week. It's the New York Yankees against the New York Mets in the rubber game of a three-game set from Citi Field here in Queens. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball, along with Paul O'Neill and David Cohn. I'm Michael Kay. Yankees won on Friday night. The Mets came back and won last night. Yankees left a lot of runners on base, and now they'll turn to Elmer Rodriguez to win this series.
Yeah, one of the best pitching prospects that the Yankees have, made his major league debut earlier this year and really showed good stuff. I think there's a little bit of nerves involved. The one key with Elmer is to get the ball over the plate more often, because when he does, he can use a lot of this movement. And in terms of his pitches and his slider and his cutter, he's got a lot of good movement on his pitches.
First two starts are against Texas, and the thing that David pointed out, you have to be concerned about 4 walks in each start. He has to be better than that, and he has to be really good to get out former Yankee Juan Soto. First 2 games of this series, Yankees have not had a real good time with him.
Well, like him or not, Juan Soto, one of the better offensive players in all of baseball, and when he's healthy, he had some injuries early in the year with a calf injury, but not this series. 8 at bats, 6 times he's reached base with a home run and a couple stolen bases. Juan Soto can do a lot of things. One guy that you're going to have to take care of today.
All right, so in his last 5 games, 389, 2 home runs, 4 ribbies. Previous 9 games, he struggled, a 121 batting average. Now, Elmer Rodriguez is starting today because Max Fried got hurt. The news on Fried better than it could have been, but there is some uncertainty in the rotation now. Meredith Marakovich talks with Yankee manager Aaron Boone about that uncertainty next on Yes.
Welcome back to Citi Field for Yankees baseball on Yes. Hey, everyone, I'm Meredith Marakovich. Elmer Rodriguez will get another opportunity up here at the big league level, making his 3rd career start this afternoon. Rodriguez was called upon when Max Fried landed on the IL. Earlier today, Aaron Boone spoke about the state of this Yankees rotation.
Max going down is a tough blow, but also big picture, feel like he's going to be good and get back to us at some point, so that's encouraging. Obviously Garrett's, getting close and really like the way he's looking right now and feel like that's going to be obviously a welcome addition to our rotation. And then you talk about Cam and Will Warren and Ryan Weathers all, pitching at a really high level.
And they'd like to see Rodriguez get to that high level. One thing Aaron Boone said is he needs to improve his strike throwing this afternoon. As far as Cole is concerned, he'll make another rehab start at the minor league level. They'll reevaluate thereafter. Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. When we get back, we will have First Pitch.
Here is the Sunday lineup, presented by Hexclad.
Coming to you live from Oceanside, New York, we are Coach Sever's Toby Little League team. Batting first, playing center field, is Trent Grisham.
Batting second, playing first base, is Ben Rice.
Batting third, designated hitter, Aaron Judge.
Batting fourth, playing left field, Cody Bellinger. Batting fifth, playing second base, is Jazz Chisholm.
Batting sixth, playing third base, Ryan McNair.
Batting seventh, playing right field, Spencer Jones.
Batting eighth, playing shortstop, is Anthony Volpe. Batting ninth, playing catcher, is JC Escara.
Starting pitcher is Elmer Rodriguez. Go Yankees!
Great job by the Severs from Oceanside, New York. So now you know the Yankee lineup. Crowd still filing in. It's going to be a full house here on this Sunday. We've got our drone working today, a little yes view here at Citi Field. The Mets have taken the field. And that Yankee lineup that you just heard, well, they're going to face Freddie Peralta.
And the veteran right-hander going to make his 10th start on the year. He's a good one. He's coming off of 3 consecutive 200 strikeout seasons, and that's saying something in today's game. And let's tell you a little bit more in our Nissan Pitchers Scouting Report. And the elite swing and miss, I mean, it's the riding fastball, that ball that up in the zone that fools hitters, get him to swing under it. His put-away pitch for me is really that splitter. That's below the zone. So fastball high, splitter and sliders low. And that's about the style. Attacks north and south more than east and west.
Well, let's take a look at the Mets defense, brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers. Melendez, Ewing, and Benj left to right in the outfield. It's Beatty, Bichette, Simeon, and Vientos third to first. You've got Hayden Sanger behind the plate, Juan Soto the DH, and David told you all about Freddie Peralta on the mound. Behind the plate, it's Jeremy Rehak. And he is considered pitcher-friendly. He's had 29 calls challenged, 13 overturned, more low strikes, more high strikes on lefty batters. It's his 9th big league season. Crew chief is Dan Iasonia. He's at first. Adam Beck at second. Jonathan Parada is at third. That was the umpire scouting report brought to you by your local Kia dealers. Grisham's ready. Peralta's ready. Let's do it. Here at Citi Field, the first pitch is a strike, and we're underway. Yankees come in at 28-18. The Mets are 19-26. Yankees trying to win this series. Yankees have not won a series at Citi Field since June 8th, 9th, and 10th back in 2018. And the Yankees struggling right now is the final game of the 9-game road trip in which they're 2-6. Grisham in this series 1 for 9 so far. 1-2. They play him to pull. Beatty around where shortstop would be. And there's a ground ball, soft ground ball to Simeon. 1 down.
Coney, as you said, there's that off-speed pitch down in the strike zone right off the end of the bat. It's not always about strikeouts. We were talking about before the game, just an easy out off the end of the bat.
There's Ben Rice. 3 for 9 in this series. It's 6 for his last 33, which is 182. And a strike, 95 miles an hour. Peralta 5th in the Cy Young voting last year. 17 wins led the National League. And he posted a 2.70 ERA in 33 starts.
You know, Ben Rice has become that guy where you want to shut up and watch him hit, right? I mean, he's must watch.
We're good at that, Cody. Just come sit back and watch him hit. I got to stand up to see home plate here. I need like a step ladder over here, Mike. They usually had a tunnel. We've rearranged the seating up here. I'm not doing so well.
They kind of blocked home plate by us. 2-1. Simeon makes a nice play to the glove side. 2 down. That's going to bring up Aaron Judge.
Another guy you kind of want to sit, relax, especially in the first inning. Judge usually comes up there ready to go.
Step aside. Aaron Judge is up.
Field here at Citi Field is bathed in sunlight. Just a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. We're going to get some hot weather over the next couple of days. Wednesday is supposed to be 95 degrees at the stadium for the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
I guess spring's over, huh? 95 on Wednesday.
1-0. 2-0.
Coney, it's got to be, you get a couple quick outs. Ideal time to face Judge. When it's count, is all right, I'm not giving in. I'm 2-0 here, right?
First base is open.
Judge, 14 home runs in his career against the Mets. The best for the Yankees? Guy named Derek Jeter, 15. That includes a couple of World Series home runs in 2000. 2-1. 3-1. Carlos Mendoza, 15 years in the Yankees organization. Foul back, 3-2. Check out leaders brought to you by your local Tri-State Buick dealers. We told you about it. Most home runs against the Mets all time. Jeter's first, then Judge, A-Rod, Posada, and Teixeira in descending order. Full count on Judge. What new? And here it is. That's ball 4.
Pretty close. They could have had a little tap on the helmet there. Went to the off speed. It looked like it might have missed down and in. Yep. Pretty close.
You can see the changeup grip. Aaron Judge eyeballed that one.
Here's Cody Bellinger. He's in a slump. 1 for his last 20. 3 for his last 30. Pitch outside. But he has good numbers against Peralta, 6 for 14. You know, the numbers on Bellinger, the splits are so stark. He just dominates at Yankee Stadium and has struggled on the road. His game is made for Yankee Stadium. He realized it. The Yankees realized it as well. 3-0. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is on deck.
It's amazing, the first inning, Cody. You get 2 quick outs. You think you're just cruising. Then you kind of pitch around carefully. And then next thing you know, you're 3-0 on Bellinger, too.
Not even close. Ball 4. So 2 straight 2-out walks. First and second for the Yankees. And here is Jazz Chisholm. Yesterday, the Yankees 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position. They left 11 runners on base in those 3 for 15. They had the bases loaded, nobody out in the 7th inning. And then Luke Weaver came in and did not allow a run.
Yeah, getting Chisholm going right now is a big part of this lineup, right in the middle of it.
He's the one guy numbers-wise in this series is starting to swing the bat a lot better. I think that he got off to a tough start after he told everybody what he was going to do goal-wise, 50 home runs, and you could see it really, really weigh on him, where now it looks like he's starting to swing the bat a lot better. Maybe it's a new bat, Cody. He's using Cabrero's bat, right?
Bat, pants, baggy look.
Yeah, he's using Giancarlo Stanton's pants. Big cut, 1-1. He had initially used the pants of Trent Grisham. Then he couldn't find it when he got here. So he just grabbed one of Giancarlo's, which are a lot bigger. And he said, Giancarlo's not getting it back. 1-1. Strike. Got the slider in there.
Yeah, that's what's so weird about a good pitcher. And Coney went over Peralta. He's a good pitcher. He hasn't really broke that slider out, but now it's an important bat. Middle of the count. Now he gets to 2 strikes by throwing a good slider.
2-2. Judge at second. Bellinger's at first, just underway from Citi Field.
It's a big deal for the Yankees to push Peralta's pitch count early. He's had trouble getting past 5 innings this year, or getting into the 6th inning because of the high pitch counts.
Mets got him in a trade from Milwaukee during the offseason. Struggled early, but he has allowed 3 runs or fewer in 8 straight starts. Swing and a miss. Chisholm down on strikes. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. Yankees nothing, and the New York Mets coming to bat. The greatest city in the world on a Sunday afternoon. Yankees, well, they've had some strikeouts in big situations. That's what happened in the top of the first. Now here's the New York Mets starting lineup. Benj, Bichette, and Soto. Paul mentioned he's reached in 6 of 8 plate appearances in the first 2 games. Vientos, Melendez, and Beatty in the middle. Then Simeon and the youngster Ewing, and then Hayden Sanger.
And here's Elmer Rodriguez. He's going to toe the slab here at Citi Field today on a Sunday. Beautiful. Love pitching on Sundays. Something about a day game anywhere. Elmer's scouting report brought to you by Nissan. He's got a power arsenal. I mean, the velocity and the movement are there. The fastball cutter combo, certainly in a sweeper that goes into it, and the swing and miss upside is there. It's just about commanding the zone, getting in count leverage spots that he can use all that movement that he has.
Here's Benj. First pitch inside, 1-0. Ben's 3 for 8 in this series. 23 years old, made the team out of spring training. And this has been the problem. Now it's only 2 pitches, but he has not had great command in his 2 big league starts with 4 walks in each. This guy the other way. Bellinger gives it a look. He makes the seats.
The Mets, you're looking at, what kind of year, where are we going here? And we're going to get into this later in the scouting reports about the Mets. It's just, are we going to go with youth? Are we going to trust that some of these veterans are going to get hot and we can try to snag a wild card? But, Benj, first-round pick a few years ago, so he's definitely part of the future either way.
Volpe backhands, fires, and the stretch by Rice as they get Benj for the first out. Take a look at the Yankee defense brought to you by your local Tri-State Genesis retailers and how perfect we are going to accentuate Anthony Volpe. Car Shield defensive player profile. Last season was not a good defensive year for him, -6 outs above average. And in 2024, he was plus 13 outs above average. This is a good play.
Yeah, this is one of the better plays, a tougher play for a shortstop because of the shift. He has to go to his right and throw against his body going away from the target. So good solid play to start the game for Anthony Volpe.
All 1 count on Bichette. Bichette playing shortstop with the injury to Francisco Lindor. He's missing his 22nd game today. He's out with a left calf strain. Soft ground ball. Volpe waits on it. And the strong throw. 2 down.
Yeah, we just talked about it. You see Volpe kind of shaking his head. This kind of in between there and then has to jab at it. And that's where he has problems defensively. You didn't put yourself in a position to get an easy hop. And then, when you're stabbing at the ball a lot of times, you're going to boot him.
Here's Juan Soto. Shows bunt and takes a strike. His home run was the only run scored against Schlittler on Friday night. Opposite field job. And the 250th of his career.
Michael, before the game, you said you couldn't believe that ball got out of here.
Yeah, he's got some power that way. 1-1. 2-1. Just 27 years old, 9th big league season. And a base hit. They have not solved the problem of Juan Soto. He has now reached in 7 of 9 plate appearances in this series.
Whether you know it or not, Juan Soto, he wants to have a big series. He's playing against the Yankees. You see an off-speed pitch just kind of hang out there over the plate. And he has such good balance as a hitter. So he doesn't get caught on his front side. always sees the ball long, waits. Like I said in the pregame, whether you like him or not, he's a great offensive player.
Yeah, pulls the off-speed stuff, hits the fastballs the other way generally.
He's a threat on the bases. 38 stolen bases last year. But Vientos with a fly ball to shallow right, diving and making the play is Spencer Jones to end the inning. Looked like it was in no man's land, but Jones reaches out, slides, hold on, and we go to the second. Well, let's check out one of today's player props brought to you by Bet365, where winning is everything. Ryan McMahon's going to lead off, and if you bet him to win or hit one or more home runs, it's plus 475. Ryan McMahon's struggling. He's 0 for his last 19 in his last 5 games. Popped up, shallow left, coming on Melendez. Bichette going out. Melendez is there to make the play. 1 down. I'll bring up Spencer Jones, and it's the Allstate Good Hands replay.
Yeah, he's going to do some work on both corner and outfield. He's a center fielder by trade in the minor leagues. You see him kind of hesitate a little bit, but, you know, Cody and I were just talking. I mean, when you're his size and can make that adjustment, slide in, unbelievably athletic.
6'7" right there. That's 6'7" dude right there, making that play.
Jones fouls it back. Jones was notified on Friday that his comebacker broke the leg. Clay Holmes, he was very upset because they work out together during the offseason. And that was the first he heard of it. The media told him.
I actually saw Clay Holmes walking in the tunnel. You know, we had one of those little scooters to keep his foot in a boot, and he knew, said right when it was hit, something was up.
And got the final 2 outs, came out and started the next inning as Jones swings and misses. Now, Meredith, you got a chance to talk to Clay Holmes today, right?
Michael, he addressed the media for the first time today since the injury. And Paul, to your point, he went out there and pitched another inning. He said at first he thought he was fine, but as he was running out to the mound to go throw again, he felt like something was maybe a little bit off. And as that inning progressed, he realized something was pretty wrong. Now, as far as Spencer Jones is concerned, Jones actually texted Clay Holmes to say sorry. Obviously, he didn't mean to do that. And Clay Holmes just said, he texted him back, don't worry about it. It's a freak thing. It happens sometimes. There's nothing you could have done. Now, those two had worked out together at times in the offseason, but certainly Spencer Jones felt terrible about that situation. But Clay Holmes trying to tell him, hey, nothing you could do about it, buddy. Don't worry about it.
They both live in the Nashville area during the offseason. Volpe pops it up. Be out of play. Volpe's had a strange series. He's 0 for 3, but he has 5 walks. And since being called up from AAA, he's 0 for 6. And the 1-2. 2-2. And there's his first base hit of the season. And it's going to go all the way to the wall. Volpe going to second. He's going to stop right there with a double.
A good swing by Anthony Volpe, and kind of an odd route out there in center field by Ewing, who has great speed, young player, but he did not give it any ground where this ball beat him to the wall. That spinning fastball just kind of sits there, and Volpe takes up, and you see he goes straight across, and then he tries to loop later, beats him to the wall. Easy double for Volpe.
Sweet spot all the way. No vibration. What's that feel like when you hit one like that?
You don't feel it. That's a good thing. When you get jammed, you hit it off the end of the bat. When you're trying to get it on my hands, Cody, that hurts. But when you hit it right on the square, it feels great.
Something about that feeling, right?
Yeah.
It just springs.
1-0 on J.C. Escara. Center field. Going back is Ewing, and he makes the play for the final out. No runs are hit. One man left. We go to the bottom of the second.
Welcome back to Queens, where Elmer Rodriguez is on the mound for his second inning of work. At just 22 years old, the Yankees believe that he has a tremendous upside. And guys, you mentioned it, first 2 outings, 4 walks in each of those. Little atypical for Elmer Rodriguez, a guy who is known for commanding the strike zone, at least at the minor league level. Now, when I spoke with pitching coach Matt Blake about that earlier today, he said at times in those starts, he felt like maybe he was trying to be too fine out there on the mound, maybe not aggressive enough. He said sometimes when you're a young guy and you go out there for the first couple of times and you see somebody with a name get into that batter's box, it causes you to be a little bit hesitant on the mound. Now, in times in those starts when he was aggressive, he had success. They just now need him to believe that his stuff is good enough to play at this level, to go out there and do what they know he can do. He said he has the weaponry to do it. He has the mental makeup to do it. They just need him to have the confidence when he's on the mound.
Maggie Meredith, he starts out the second inning with a ball to MJ Melendez. Melendez last 9 games, 1 hit in 17 at-bats. 2-0.
Rodriguez says all the right things. He was really pumped to pitch in this series, and he said, I just have to trust my stuff, that it's good enough. And Cody, you take yourself back to the minor leagues where, you basically dominate, and you really do trust your stuff. Easy fly ball for an easy out to start the inning, but all of a sudden you come to the major leagues and do you lose that confidence, or you just try to be a little bit more fine?
Yeah, you think you have to be better. You can't make mistakes, and that's more of a mental and emotional deal, right to your point, and that is something that you can only solve yourself on the mound with more reps and more experience. He's got all the stuff, a unique style when he pitches from the first base side of the rubber, and an extreme crossfire, really throws across his body. So maybe early in the game, getting a feel for that and throwing strikes is a key for him.
Brett Beatty checks the swing, 1-0.
Pitching from that one side of the rubber, it really does hide the baseball from the hitter, but from a pitching aspect, it makes it much more, it's harder to throw consistent strikes, right?
Well, I think it's where you start from has to equate to where you land. They go hand in hand. So that's why guys who crossfire like he does are better off on the first base side of the rubber. That's generally speaking. General rule of thumb is, if you're a power guy and you throw across your body, then you give yourself a little bit more room if you're on the first base side of the rubber as a right-handed pitcher.
Jazz Chisholm gets Beatty, 2 down. Now let's check out the Mohegan Sun team scouting report on the New York Mets.
Well, they've been better lately. They've won 8 out of 12. The offense the last couple of weeks has been much better. A long way to go, though. They're still waiting. A couple guys really need to get going. You got Bichette, Simeon off to tough starts. You got to get Lindor back. He's out with a calf strain. And which way are we going? We kind of talked about this. Are you going to the youth movement, or are you going to stick with this club and hope for that great run to try to snag a wild card?
One and one on Marcus Simeon. They miss Lindor for sure.
And then you're talking about Bichette. He's, hit over 300 last year in the low 200s. Led the American League in hits for a couple years. Really struggling. Simeon, you go back to 2020, 45 home runs with the Toronto Blue Jays, and they have not even come close to putting up those types of numbers yet.
Well, they started 11-22. Since then, 8-4. Simeon 1 for 7 in the first 2 games of the series. Ground ball to third, and they got him. 1, 2, 3 inning. So they go down in order, and we go to the third. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by FanDuel. All customers can choose the exclusive reward they want to use on their bets for the big showdown today. By Sandals Resorts, get closer to the Caribbean. By Nissan, hop into a Nissan Rogue and hit the road to adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. And by Mohegan Sun, beyond your wildest. Two pretty good players right there. Babe and Tom, terrific.
I'm just looking at some of those pictures, some of the names in sports. Willie Namath, Joe Namath. I mean, come on. Just as a childhood hero, just watching. Babe Ruth. He was part of the World's Fair, like making appearances here at the old Shea Stadium.
So growing up in the Bronx, Michael, it was always Yankees, Giants, right?
Yes.
And Mets and Jets.
Yep. That's usually what work. Yankees, Giants, Rangers, Knicks. Yeah. But there are some outliers. Here's Ben Rice. One and 0.
Conan, when you were playing here, I mean, you were here during the good times of the Mets. I mean, there were times in the 90s where I felt like, it was all written that the Mets were trying to take over. They felt like the stepchild. I mean, when you were good here with the Mets, still feel that way, trying to compare yourself to the Yankees?
Well, in the late 80s, it was coming off of the 86 World Series. Shea Stadium was the place to be. It really was. And then when Derek Jeter showed up, it kind of changed in the 90s.
Yeah, the World Series started getting fun again.
And they traded for you. Bernie came up. The Core 4 came up. And Core 5, really, I guess, with Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of the formula when you think about it. And that's what the Yankees are getting back to a little bit. And you talked about the Mets.
High fly ball, right center, going back. Ewing on the track at the wall. See ya! A home run for Ben Rice. That's his 15th of the year, and the Yankees are up 1-0.
Boy, you're really seeing a hitter just kind of come into his own right here. It's not just the Aaron Judge show anymore. Ben Rice, 15th of the year. He had the tough series in Milwaukee, but again, after the bruised hand and the little stint on the bench, starting to turn it on again. When you break down hitters, as a pitcher, I'm sure you look at, where I would pitch. He can cover a lot of pitches. He's kind of on top of the plate. He's strong enough to really pull the ball, go the other way.
And he's closed up some holes on the inner half for himself. He's really made a lot of progress. Now, these two guys have 31 home runs combined. I mean, what's that going to be at the end of the year if they both stay healthy and do what they're capable of doing?
The 1-1 to Judge. 1-2.
You can't forget. I mean, if you're Ben Rice, you're having a great year, but you've almost hit the lottery because you're hitting in front of Aaron Judge, who everybody in the world knows that you're going to get pitches because you don't want to face Judge with men on base.
2-2.
He's got that look in his eyes, doesn't he, Ben Rice? You see that in guys that just feel it, that they're on. The confidence, there's the way they carry themselves. It's hard to explain, but it's a feel, it's a vibe you get. Ben Rice has that vibe.
Yeah, it almost gets to like body language. And, you can see guys that are struggling and don't know if they're going to come out of it. Where, you see Aaron Judge, you see Ben Rice, go through a tough spot.
Fly ball, right field. And Bench puts it away.
And you can just tell by their actions that they believe that it's just a matter of time. This ball going down and away. And that's the pitch that lefties you really got to stay with. And he's able to do it.
Yep, he's hungry. And he's eating.
That's such a good pitch to hit if you stay on the ball. Kind of sinking down and away, off-speed pitch. But if you come off this ball at all and try to pull it, and the speed of the pitch is going to allow your bat to get out there to pull the ball, but if you try and you start hooking it, you can do nothing with it. It just stays back, and you see that ball is almost back to his front knee before he made contact, and still able to pull the baseball.
Bellinger pops it up behind the plate. Sanger gives it a look. Can't make the play. He got just over the screen.
I think Bellinger told the umpire, I don't need a timeout, but he's got sunglasses, and sometimes, you know, you get sweat on them or something in your eye where you got to pause a little bit. Pretty good pitch to hit there, right, Conan?
Yeah. Just a little out in front of it. And yeah, I don't know what, yeah, he had, you know, obviously something with his vision. It's the old Bernie Williams trick. I got dirt in my eye.
1-1. 2-1. Bellinger walked in the first inning. Three and one. And there's ball four. Another walk for Bellinger, and they continue to make Peralta throw pitches. Play FanDuel's daily dingle for free every day for a chance at a profit boost if your selected player hits a home run. And here are the featured home run odds for today's players. Jazz is one of them at plus 500, and Spencer Jones another at plus 750. Yankees have runners on first and second, 2 outs in the first inning, and Chisholm struck out to end the threat. Upstairs. Now, David mentioned in his scouting report that Peralta has 3 straight seasons with 200 or more strikeouts. The only other pitcher with 200 or more in 23, 24, and 25 is Dylan Cease, who the Yankees will see on Tuesday. He's now a member of the Blue Jays after that big free agent contract. 3-0.
Ever since the Ben Rice home run, right? It kind of chases you out of the zone. You think you got to be a little more fine, and been there, done that.
Ball four. So first and second, 2 outs. Let's check out Coors Banquet Start Your Legacy. So you see, since 2021, he has 57 wins, 4th in the National League. His ERA 10th. Opponents at 200 against him, that's first. And strikeout percentage 29.2, that's third. These are for pitchers with a minimum of 500 innings pitched. Let's take a look at what he throws. StatCast 3D by Google Cloud. His arsenal is...
It's not upper 90s power, but it's really about the riding action, the carry he gets on that four-seamer at a little under 94 miles an hour, and that sets up everything else. It sets up the high-low game that he has. Fastball's up, off-speed down.
Now, Peralta, this year averaging 17.1 pitches per inning. That's 8th most in the National League. Today, 23 in the first, 11 in the second, and 20 at this point through the third. Here's Ryan McMahon. Missing by a lot, 1-0. McMahon fly ball to left in the second. He's now 0 for his last 20. Now on the 2-6 road trip, the Yankee offense has really taken a step back. They've averaged just 2.75 runs per game. And their batting average is 195. They are slugging okay. But runners in scoring position hitting 206.
They go through spurts throughout the year where you don't get the big hit for a week, and then a couple of your guys don't hit the home runs you're accustomed to, and all of a sudden you offensively don't throw up the number of runs that you're accustomed to, and it puts together a little streak where you play 500, a little bit below.
McMahon was about to toss away his at bat. He thought that it was ball 4, but it's a strike, 3-1. Bellinger at second. Chisholm is at first. Ground ball. Simeon. And McMahon's struggles continue. And the Yankees' struggles with runners in scoring position continues as well. Ben Rice is not struggling. He goes yard. His 15th of the year when it lands. The Yankees have a 1-0 lead. It's time for today's injury report, brought to you by Montefiore Einstein, the official hospital of the New York Yankees. Max Fried, everybody holding their breath when he got the MRI, placed on the 15-day IL yesterday with a left elbow bone bruise. Several doctors looked at it, including Yankee team physician Dr. Christopher Ahmad, and did not see any damage to the ligament, which is the important thing. Garrett Cole dealing last night, 86 pitches in AAA, got up to 100 on one of the pitches. He is expected to make one more rehab start. A.J. Ewing takes a strike from Elmer Rodriguez as the Yankees have a 1-0 lead on the Ben Rice home run. You see Max Fried. That's a base hit. As Ewing, 21 years old, has certainly been a spark plug for the Mets when they called him up.
Yeah, one of his strengths is his speed. He had 70 stolen bases last year in the minor leagues. And he's got a great swing. It looks like he stays on top of the ball. I saw him hit a triple the other night off a lefty. No problem getting to this right through the baseball up the middle.
Hit .339 in 30 minor league games this season between AA and AAA. Made his major league debut on Tuesday. Here's Senger. Bunted straight up in the air. Elmer Rodriguez makes the call and the catch.
Well, there's a gimme for you, Coney, huh? A little pop-up bunt.
Well, if you talk about styles and whether you should bunt or not, it starts with can you bunt?
Yeah.
Really, it's not about, the strategy behind it. It's about the efficacy of the ability to bunt. So that's the factoring that goes into the decision-making, whether you have guys bunt or not, along with the probabilities.
I've heard you say many times, you loved a guy to bunt, to give you an out.
Thank you. Just did Elmer Rodriguez a favor to give him that out.
Mm-hmm.
Ewing has one stolen base up here. Runner goes. It's a strike. And Lascar couldn't get his handle on it. So a stolen base for Ewing.
Yeah, I was anxious to see because he really had a good pitch really to throw on. It was kind of down and away where he was falling out of the box, but he just lost the grip of the baseball.
Bangs pops it up left side. Who's going to get it? Volpe will. 2 down.
Back to the bunt. If you've got a guy, and you're saying, right, and Ewing's a base stealer, 70 last year, you've almost just given them a out. He's going to steal the base anyway if you give him an opportunity.
Joe Girardi was talking in one of the last series we worked. He said, everybody said, well, this is time to bunt, this is time to bunt. He goes, how hard it is to bunt fastballs,
yeah.
Really hard fastballs? Here's Bo Bichette. Yankees lead 1-0 on the Rice home run. And a strike.
To me, that's Elmer Rodriguez's best fastball. The way he crossfires and throws that two-seamer into righties like that, that was good.
Bichette, 28 years old, signed a free agent deal with the Mets. He's off to a tough start. His manager, Carlos Mendoza, said he's too good of a hitter. I'm not worried about him. The ball is going to find holes. Signed a 3-year, $126 million deal in January, with opt-outs after this year and next. And it's kind of an odd drop-off. Finished top 2 in the majors last year with a .311 average, 181 hits, and 44 doubles with Toronto. Two and two.
Well, it didn't look like a strike because Oscar had to reach all the way across the plate. But called there.
Foul ball. Volpe gets Bichette, and that'll do it. They strand a runner at second, and we go to the fourth. Well, let's all play ball. Don't miss Play Ball Weekend coming up on June 5th through the 7th, encouraging youth everywhere to get out and play. You can visit playball.org to register for a free event near you today. Spencer Jones will lead off the fourth inning. Yankees lead 1-0 on the Rice home run. Peralta deals. 0-1. Jones struck out in the second inning. Had a couple of hits on Friday. His first multi-hit game. And with Jones, you know he has 8 strikeouts and 20 plate appearances. That's baked into the pie. That's what he is. He's a power hitter who's going to have some swing and miss. The 0-2. 1-2.
You know, I believe this will help his development more than more reps in AAA right now. Being around Aaron Judge, being around the major league coaches, being around Goldschmidt is going to be such a good influence on him to see what it's like on this level.
Paul, your take on that stance? It almost looks uncomfortable.
Well, he starts off, with the hands way away from his body and low, but then kind of gets to a better position as the pitch comes at that point right there. But he's a big guy. He's got a long swing. Obviously, he's going to get better and better. And I agree with Coney also. Major league at bats are far more important to your psyche than doing well in the minor leagues. But when he gets up to his hands move up, that's a good hitting position right there.
2-2.
That start could almost be a reminder, to keep your hands away or to get them away from your body. And that's always been the way to pitch a power hitter, a big guy, is not to allow their hands to get out front, kind of jam them a little bit.
Swing and a miss. Jones down on strikes. 1 away.
This is the Peralta special. The sliders down below the zone. We talked about fastballs up, and there's Spencer Jones in his style. Work the count to 3-2, but bit on the slider over the heart of the plate.
It's all going to be about pitch selection too. I don't care how good or how long your swing is. If you're swinging at that ball out of the strike zone, you can have trouble making contact. If you look at where Aaron Judge was when he broke in and where he is now, that's probably the biggest thing is his plate discipline. He doesn't miss pitches, and he doesn't swing at near the pitches outside the strike zone he did as a younger player.
And that was a big concern, Paul, because when he got called up at the end of 2017, he struck out 50% of the time. And the next year he hit 52 home runs.
Pretty good now, don't you think?
1-2. Volpe got his first hit of the season, a double in the second inning, he left center field. Swing and a miss. Volpe down on strikes.
Yeah, you really called it, Coney, and you don't see a lot of pitchers pitch this way up and down instead of, east and west. And this ball just up in the strike zone after the off speed down in the strike zone, and just a lot to cover. Kind of get you lunging one way or the other as a hitter.
There's J.C. Escara and a strike. Escara with a fly ball to center when Volpe was at second in the second. Yankees are having trouble with their catchers offensively. You see where Escara is, 178. Austin Wells has the day off, and he's 2 for his last 21, and he has 11 strikeouts in his last 21 plate appearances. And what Aaron Boone said after the game, he's between. He said he's in front of the breaking stuff, and he's behind the fastball.
Not a good place to be, and it usually has to do with kind of body movement. When you start lunging a little bit, it causes you to be a little bit slower. You're behind the fastball, and then you have to make up your mind too quick on the breaking ball.
Ground ball, Simeon, and the Yankees go down in order against Peralta. 1, 2, 3, and we go to the bottom of the fourth. It's time for Pinstripe Pride, brought to you by Toyota, the official hybrid vehicles of the Yankees. Today's picture is of Bella Maria. We are excited to welcome another Yankee fan to the world. We hope she's enjoyed her first Subway Series this weekend. She's adorable. She's got the Yankee Bitty. Good stuff from Bella Maria. Welcome to the world. Use the hashtag Toyota Pinstripe Pride and mention yes in pictures you post to social media to reflect your love for the Bronx Bombers. We might spotlight you in a future game.
You need to get some of those binkies for me and O'Neill when you need us to shut up here. Just throw the binky in.
I was just going to say I could use those now. I haven't seen the Yankee logo one, but I was thinking about for the granddaughter. You just think we could shut up here?
Yeah, here, just hand it over here.
I don't think you need it, David. Here's Juan Soto. 1-0. Soto with a single to right in the first. And a strike. Another strike.
And what a great sequence there, Coney, to come back after being ball one, a curveball just to kind of get me over, and then followed up with a good fastball in under the hands.
A little run back on that two-seamer. Dropping his curveball for strikes sets up everything. Now you can go to work.
Soto missed 15 games last month with a right calf strain. It's his first IL stint in 5 years. He was great before and then right after the injury. Slumped this month, but he's picked it up during this homestand. Two. Tipped into the glove of Escara, and Soto's down on strikes.
Good job by Rodriguez. He froze Soto in the box because he waited on him. Waited, and then threw the changeup and got him away. More of a cutter, really. It's more of a backdoor cutter, but he made Soto stand there for a good 5, 6, 7 seconds.
Yeah, I did notice that, and that's really frustrating as a hitter because your concentration starts waning a little bit,
Trying to look at what was that pitch? I couldn't figure it out either. A little cutter, probably backdoor cutter.
0-1 on Vientos. Grounder and through for a base hit.
It's a loud noise for a 3-4 hopper through the right side, huh?
Yeah, this is me on the mound right now with my hand on my hip going, what are you playing over there for? Because they have data that says that's where they usually hit the ball, that's why.
Here's Melendez. 1-0. Melendez with a fly ball to center in the second. So he's 1 for his last 18. And that was after a hot streak. His first 16 games, he's hitting .333 and slugging .614. But this is game number 10 of the last 10, 1 for 18. Center field. Grisham makes the play. Vientos heads back. Want to know on Beatty.
And you look at Beatty's year, and he's kind of been all over. And with Lindor's injury now, it's, you know, in the infield a lot. Last year, 18 home runs. I mean, they had high expectations and got off to kind of a tough start this year. Jammed one into center field there.
So Vientos stops at second. First and second, 2 outs.
He's trying to go away. You see, that's what that crossfire leads you to do, that style. When he lands across his body, you kind of yank it in. You're trying to throw it away. You end up yanking it in, and Beatty gets just enough of it.
Yeah, it's all about being level to the strike zone. When you get jammed that bad, you know, you can just dunk it in the outfield. If you're underneath that ball, it's just an easy fly ball to the shortstop.
It's the 4th hit for the Mets. Yankees have 2 hits, but one of them was a Rice home run, so the Yankees lead 1-0. Mets threatening in the bottom of the 4th. Into right field on the run is Jones. He can't get there. It's a base hit. Vientos scores. They're going to hold Beatty at third. It's a double and an RBI for Simeon. The game is tied at 1.
It looked like another jam shot. I mean, back-to-back, Simeon just kind of fought it off the other way, but no chance out there for Spencer Jones. And that's a two-seamer. Just did not quite get into the inside corner where, you know, you can kind of fight it off and shoot it the other way.
What do you do with the ball here? You got a man coming around third. Do you throw the ball to second there, Paul?
Yeah, I was very surprised. I mean, your main concern is to keep the runner from scoring from first base. So
yeah, Beatty's on the run here. Yeah.
Always to the first baseman here. Don't throw behind or any kind of bobble or anything right there could score a run.
I think the Yankees were fortunate that Beatty wasn't ready at third base to score there.
Quick conference on the mound. For Simeon, it's his 15th ribby of the year.
Well, those are usually the indication of how you're going to do, your pitching line is you get out of the 2-out jams. Well, that's a big hit right there to get the Mets on the board. Now you've got a big opportunity to keep it here 1-1 or give up the lead.
A.J. Ewing singled in his first at bat.
Grip gets a little tighter in these situations, doesn't it?
You do. You think you got to be perfect.
Strike. 1-1.
If you look at this inning, Coney, he's made some really good pitches, but he hasn't been able to string together, back to back to back good pitches in an at bat.
Kind of just finding the radar, right? Overall command of all your pitches.
Ryan Yarbrough getting ready. The Yankees did not get distance yesterday out of Rodon. They don't need another short starting outing again. Dropped a curveball in there on 3-1.
Yeah, Michael, no days off this week, so Aaron Boone obviously has got to keep track of his bullpen and how he uses it throughout this week.
3-2, and they walked him. A lot of poise for a 21-year-old. Bases are loaded. Check out the bullpen budget for the Yankees, brought to you by Citizens. Make sense of your money with Citizens. So they used Duvall, Bird, Blackburn, Hill, and Hedrick yesterday. They could all be used again. Just want to stay away from Blackburn with his 24 pitches. And Hedrick also probably at 26, but if need be, they do pitch back-to-back. Bases loaded. And here's the number 9 here to the catcher, Sanger. 0-1. Senga called up Wednesday, day after Alvarez suffered a torn right meniscus. He's out until at least mid-July. Going to be a tough play. Right there is Volpe. Fires, got him. The Mets score a run, but they leave the bases loaded. We've gone 4. It's a 1-1 game. Cooking up something special with HexClad. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. We go down on the farm. Carlos Lagrange, 21 fastest pitches by a AAA starter this season. And the number 8 prospect, Chase Hampton, 1.59 ERA in the first 2 starts this season. And Oswaldo Cabrera, last 14 games, has been lighting it up offensively. 375, 6 home runs, and an OPS of 998.
A great story. Oswaldo, fan favorite, teammate favorite. Chase Hampton, too, been through a lot. Good to see him back.
Audi scoreboard 1-1 as we go to the 5th. Top of the order for the Yanks.
This is the ballpark where Cabrera, did he wear his grandmother's tooth or something around his neck?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
That was it. Speaking of that.
Grisham 0 for 2. He's 1 for his last 14. And a strike. You know, when you see the Yankee offense right now struggling the way it is, you realize the value of Giancarlo Stanton. Lengthens the lineup, not as many lefties, provides protection. So the loss of Stanton, and there's still no return date, it hurts quite a bit. And also the spark plug that Caballero is also missing.
The pitch was ruled a ball. The pitcher's challenging.
All right, so that was ruled a ball, and it's challenged by Peralta, ABS powered by T-Mobile. Wow, it was a ball.
The call is confirmed. New York has 1 challenge remaining.
That's a tough challenge right there. That looked like a long way.
We're going to have a bucket list of the worst challenges of the year. That's a candidate.
Three and 1 on Grisham. Ben Rice on deck, and then Judge follows him. Yankees have 2 hits. The Mets have 5, each team with a run. High fly ball, left field. Melendez back, still back, and on the track he'll make the play. Out number 1. And that'll bring up Ben Rice, and it brings us to the Optimum Fiber famously fast replay.
Well, we talked about Ben Rice, how he's so quick inside, which allows him to kind of hang over the plate and cover that off-speed pitch away. Really, really good job. Unbelievable year so far from Ben Rice.
Rice's 15th home run of the year, one behind Judge for the team lead. That one is driven to center field and deep. Ewing back, and in front of the track, he'll make the play.
He was able to stay back. Peralta got him off the end of the bat this time. It just kept him in the ballpark.
Here's Aaron Judge, walked, and a fly ball to right.
Yeah, we were talking about Spencer Jones earlier and being the, his size, keeping his hands away from the body. And you see what Aaron Judge kind of doing the same thing, which allows those hands to kind of clear and not be caught. When you're 6'7", 6'8", the bat has to travel a little bit farther. And if you get it caught behind you with your hands close to your body, it's very hard to get out in front.
Two and one on Judge. Bellinger's on deck. Judge and Bellinger have combined for 3 walks in this game. Bellinger with 2. (3-1). Got the fastball by him on a tip, and the count is full.
Don't know that he's going to see that fastball up in the strike zone over the plate this time. I think you got to feel fortunate as a pitcher in a fastball count to give Aaron Judge something to hit at and get away with it.
Popped up in the infield. Bichette makes the play, and the Yankees go down in order. So Peralta's retired 7 in a row. We're halfway through. Time to name that Yankee, brought to you by Prevagen, made for your brain. 237 average, 281 hits, 53 home runs. Right for the Yankees in 55 and 58 and 59. Ended up with the Mets in 62 and 63.
And that would be the Kansas City A's, 60 and 61.
Wow. Coney, you're on your game today.
Yes.
I was up a little late last night. Michael, you missed the big appearance last night in Bridgewater. Coney and I were there over in Jersey.
I didn't miss it. I wasn't invited, so it would be rude to
Well,
go.
they did block off some of the streets. Maybe you just didn't get there yet. A lot of good folks out there. Ended up going to a great restaurant over there. Madison. Oh, good stuff. You know what? I got home late. I'm a little late. I feel like I know what you feel like your whole career now. Here
We reverse roles here. Used to be me staying out all night.
2-2. Top of the order for the Mets, Benj, Bichette, and Soto. I got him. He'll take first.
Well, not a way you want to start off the inning. Hitting a leadoff guy up and in. You looked just off the forearm.
Well, you could see, I talked a lot about the style of Rodriguez out there, and yeah, that's why you wear the guard on your elbow there to protect you from this. But that's where his miss is. It's the crossfire yank. Mm-hmm. A lot of times you see pitchers, you talk about arm side miss because they fly open a little bit and the ball drifts up and away. His miss is the other way, the opposite of the arm side miss, the yank inside.
Fly ball left field. Bellinger puts it away. Sounded like a broken bat. One down.
Yeah, that's all the good movement at the end there. Just kind of boring in on a right-handed hitter where you're not able to get the barrel of the bat. And watch, see that two-seamer, and then it just keeps going inside to get to the label. You can't do it much better than that, Coney. That's kind of the way that pitch is designed, righty on righty, huh?
You a little surprised by this, David, taking him out?
A bit, yeah. Obviously, Aaron Boone has a strategy. He doesn't want to let this game get away. He really wants this game. So, yeah, that's it.
He's going to call on the lefty Hedrick. It'll be Hedrick against Soto when we get back. Oh, it's Yarbrough. Check that. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Charles Tyrrell, making it easy for men to dress well. Visit ctshirts.com. By Optimum Fiber, famously fast fiber internet. And by the New York Lottery. This could be your lucky play. It was fun when those two were in the lineup together. Only for 1 year. This is Judge's second year, or this is Soto's second year in Queens. So the Yankees go to Ryan Yarbrough with a runner on first and one out, bringing the lefty to face the lefty Soto. Slow roller in front of the plate. Two down as Benj moves to second.
I can hear somebody on the bench right now saying, grown man hit that ball.
Exactly. You know, as a hitter, you're coming out of the box, you almost want to kick it foul. It's like, really, it didn't hit the crease of the grass to go foul. It's going to stay fair. It's just like you took the bat away from me. What a waste of time.
But Chili Davis would have said that. That's the part I miss the most. The bench jockeying and getting on each other.
Should have wrote all those down, Coney, because you know we're starting to forget a lot of them, but they were good.
Tim Raines would be all over you right now. You hit a ball like that, Rock would be laughing at the end of the bench, just looking at you laughing.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of people would say stuff. Rock would just look at you.
Just look at you and laugh at you.
Line into left field. It's a base hit fielded by Bellinger. They're going to hold up Benj at third. So another base hit for Vientos, and the Mets have runners on first and third with two outs.
Well, sometimes it's better that as a pitcher, if they hit it hard, and right here Vientos hits it hard, but Bellinger gets that easy one hopper, or not allowing the run to score.
Well, Vientos starting to heat up too for the Mets, swinging the bat much better as of late. He's a key to their lineup as well. Gives them some right-handed thump.
With a lot of the injuries, the Mets have had, some guys are getting opportunities that, if they make the most of them, that's how you win a job.
Well, Tyrone Taylor is going to pinch hit for Melendez. As Mendoza goes to his bench. 1-0.
The pitch was ruled a ball. The New York Yankees are challenging. The catcher's challenging.
All right, so Escara challenging the call of a ball.
I like this challenge.
Now you like it more.
The call is overturned. The Yankees have two challenges remaining.
Between 1-0 and 0-1 here for Yarbrough, lefty on lefty. Lefty on righty.
Bird warming for the Yanks. Lined into center field. It is caught by Grisham. He saved a run, maybe two. Took a base hit away from Taylor.
Whether some plays that could really change the game with a two-out runner in scoring position. What a great play by Grisham.
Hey everybody, Bob Lorenz with your Audi update. Blue Jays and Tigers at top of the first. Right out of the gate, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. launches one off Jack Flaherty. Solo shot. His first homer since April 20th. I mean, it 1-0. It's now 4-0 Jays in the fifth. Toronto, by the way, coming to the Bronx for a 4-game series starting tomorrow night, guys.
Well, thank you, Bob. We go to the sixth inning. Bellinger leads off against Peralta. The first pitch is upstairs. Bellinger's walked twice against the Met right-hander. Taylor takes over in left field. He pinch hit for Melendez.
Like we talked about, Michael, some diving plays go good plays, but some diving plays can change the outcome of the game. And this, with runners in scoring position, 2 outs, that's a big gamble and a great play by Grisham.
Teammates giving him some love. That was a big play in the 5th inning. 3-0 on Bellinger. And a strike. Bellinger, Chisholm, and McMahon here in the 6th. Mets have action in their bullpen. And he has been unable to get Bellinger out. 3 walks. Let's go around the majors. Ohtani, what knew he's hot. Then Murakami, 17 home runs this season. That leads the American League. And Okamoto, we're going to see him when the Blue Jays come to town. 14 games in May, heating up a bit, 5 home runs and 12 runs batted in. Oh 1. Chisholm struck out and walked. One and one.
Well, you see a lot this day. Both bullpens going, both starters. Peralta's pitch count getting up. This is probably his last inning if he can get through it, or you go to the pen. So you can have both sides in the bullpen fighting it out.
And that one gets away. Bellinger moves to second. He'll stop right there.
When he's looking back, I mean, now even guys in the minor leagues, you see this ball getting away, big break for the Yankees. You're kind of groomed to 5, 6 innings. I mean, I can remember, and I'm sure that especially early in your career when you took the ball, your intentions were to throw 9 innings.
Well, yeah, you were allowed to throw more pitches, and you knew that going in. And conditioned to your point. These guys know they're limited.
3-1 on Jazz.
There's more of a mentality of go as hard as you can, as long as you can. And we've got extra guys in the bullpen that throw hard. So the different mentality. I knew at this point in the game I had 30 more pitches to go. Even if I was approaching 100 at this point, I had 20 more.
And a walk.
But this is not a good sign. And Peralta's had this problem. And you get out there, you start to approach 100 pitches, you walk the first 2 guys. You got a decision to make right now if you're on the Mets bench.
And it's not a great decision because Manaya's really struggled. He has a 6.56 ERA. His velocity has been down. So it's not a no-brainer right now.
Decision made. That's the right decision. You got 96 pitches. You just walk the first 2 guys. That's kind of been his MO this year. He's had trouble getting past this point in the game.
5.24 innings per start in his career. So here is an enigma for the Mets. Sean Manaea. It'll be Manaea against McMahon unless the Yankees go to the bench. Well, come out to Yankee Stadium on Thursday, May 21st when the Yankees take on the Blue Jays in a postseason rematch. It's cap night. The first 18,000 guests 21 and older receive a Yankees cap courtesy of Budweiser. Tickets are going fast, so get yours today at Yankees.com. So that'll do it for Peralta. He turns it over to Sean Manaea. And you see the numbers, and that's not great. And the velocity has been down. They do not go to Rosario to pinch hit for McMahon. They stay with McMahon here in a close game. His velocity has ticked up from below 90 to about 91 or 92 now.
Mets pinching on the corners.
I was almost thinking this might be a bunt situation by keeping McMahon in there if he could get it down. I mean, you're playing for the one run to try to hold on at this point, and you want him in for defense. So
once again, can you bunt?
Mm-hmm.
That was not a good effort right there.
Bunted. They thought about third. They take the out at first. Sacrifice successful.
Well, when it works, Coney, it does set up the good things. And, I always felt that bunting a lefty on lefty was even tougher. You see him kind of jab at it. Kind of an indecision play right there.
Well, he had it in third there.
Yeah, good break for the Yankees. I think with the force play, yeah, you had him at third base.
He would have taken a good throw, but he had good angle.
Now, lefties have hit Mania this year. That's why I kept in McMahon. 323 with a 912 OPS, but now they're going to go to Goldschmidt to pinch hit for Spencer Jones.
There you go. Thinking of a master plan.
Infield in for the Mets.
Got my mind on my money on my mind.
I was just thinking that's from a song, and I just worked out to it this morning. What is it, Coney? You're reading my mind here.
Two 2-0 on the pinch hitter Goldschmidt. And Goldschmidt calls time.
It's kind of resetting. You saw a lot of movement with the infield really coming in, and sometimes as a hitter, you don't want that in your mind. You want to think about hitting. You step out, get your wits about you again.
Last 9 games, the Yankees hitting 197 with runners in scoring position. The first 38 games of the year, they excelled 284. Two and two.
It's an important at bat, an important inning. The bunt was successful. Now you've got to at least take the lead, and hopefully you can even expand on that.
And that one gets past the catcher, but I think it hit Goldschmidt, so they'll send the runners back, and the bases will be loaded.
Goldschmidt in a big situation. 2-2 ends up getting one off the toe, but it sets up Anthony Volpe for the same at bat. Now the bases loaded.
And they will pinch run Schumann.
Goldschmidt tried to play that off a little bit, like it didn't hit him. It's a veteran move right there.
Felt pretty comfortable with that at bat.
He didn't run to first base right away.
So Schumann, who will stay in to play the outfield, pinch runs for Goldschmidt. Now the Mets will go halfway at short and second, trying to get the double play on Volpe. Volpe doubled in the second and struck out in the fourth. Big spot. Line drive, it's a base hit to left field. Bellinger scores. Here comes Chisholm. Here's the throw. Way off line. He'll score. Moving to third is Schumann. He's in there. A big 2-run single for Volpe. And the Yankees lead 3-1.
Well, a couple of the better at-bats that Anthony Volpe has had have been today coming off the injury. And this is a huge at-bat. And then it puts into play the speed on the bases for the Yankees. Hanging breaking ball. Nice level swing. Hammers it to left field. Chisholm, no problem scoring.
Nice day for Anthony Volpe here, coming up big. His first 2 hits of the year, big hits. And I don't know what this is. This is a grenade. He just launches it. Misses the cutoff, man. Schumann, good job. Getting there, taking the chance, get to third base.
Yeah, good throw has him. Again, you test the defense. A good throw has him. That ball was high. He was able to sneak into third base.
Must feel great for Volpe, trying to make that decision tough when Caballero comes back. So now they'll pinch hit for Escara with Rosario. Fly ball right field. Benge is there. Makes the catch. Tagging is Schumann. The throw is cut off. Volpe smartly goes to second. A sac fly for Rosario, and the Yankees lead 4-1.
Boy, they have really done some good stuff as far as situational hitting, base running. I mean, Anthony Volpe right there, knowing he's going to try to throw him out at home, end up stealing second base. I mean, this is just a great base running decision.
If you watch the Yankees play this inning and you squint, it's almost like 1977, right? Style of baseball. First and second, run them over, situational, like you said.
And by Volpe moving to second now, another runner in scoring position as we go to the top of the lineup, and Trent Grisham. Yankees lead 4-1. Paul, how's this for a rally? Walk, sack bunt, hit by pitch, then the 2-run single and a sac fly.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't draw it up any better if you're a true baseball fan and just want to see things done right.
Aaron Boone should stick his chest out a little bit right now, right? Made all the right moves this inning. You know, he used to do that, Don Zimmer. He'd make a move. You'd see him strutting up and down when he managed the Cubs.
Sometimes you scratch your head at the moves like Zim. What do you think? Zim gave me the hit and run once with a guy on third base. I thought, what are you doing? You're going to get somebody hurt here.
The 0-2. Well, the Mets have out hit the Yankees 6-3, but the Yankees have outscored them 4-1. 3 runs here in the 6th inning. And Aaron Boone in this inning has used his entire bench because pinch hitting for Escara, you've got to go to Wells, and that's it. Empty bench. Popped up. Bichette. Drops the ball. The ball falls, and going to second is Grisham. Scoring is Volpe, and the Yankees lead 5-1. He kept drifting back, and Taylor was nowhere to be found.
Yeah, Taylor came in late. I mean, this ball has got to be called off. This is the left fielder's ball. You saw the drop fly ball last night, and this one tonight, or today. As soon as it's up there that long, you know, as a shortstop, you expect the left fielder to call you off. Much easier play coming in than going back.
Well, they're going to give Bichette an error on that.
I was waiting for your call, but that wasn't the right time to do that kind of call. Luis Castillo call.
Here's Ben Rice. So Grisham at second.
All of a sudden, I mean, this 6th inning has turned into 4 runs for the Yankees, and this is the kind of stuff the Mets, when their offense is struggling the way it is, you cannot give up big innings, especially the way it's happened this inning.
Now, last night, the Mets lived through Benz dropping a fly ball in the outfield. Now, Bichette gets an E6 on that one. He should have hauled in, and this is the one last night.
Well, it happens. You just can't figure out, as many times as you catch fly balls, you just can't figure out how it happened, but it does.
Swing and a miss. But the Yankees score 4 runs. The Mets are getting booed by their fans as they head to their dugout. Big hit for the Yankees. Right there, that 2-run single for Volpe. Yankees up 5-1 as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Well, fans, Yankee Games on Yes are streaming live on the Gotham Sports app, included for free with your eligible TV provider subscription. Download and sign into the Gotham Sports app now. Check out all the great Yankees content, including pregame features, postgame sound, podcast, and much more. Austin Wells behind the plate. Bellinger moves from left to right, and Schumann takes over in left. So obviously moving Bellinger, the more accomplished outfielder, to the tougher field here at Citi Field. Yankees up 5-1. Beatty leads off against Yarbrough.
Such a big inning, Coney, when you put up runs to go out there and shut the door and you know, get the Mets, don't give them any hope of coming back in the bottom of the sixth there.
Well, the Mets' problem this year has been their offense. They score 3.76 runs per game. That's 27th in baseball. 226 batting average, 28th. On base percentage, 292, 29th. And they slug at 347, and that's the worst in baseball. They have 37 home runs, tied for 24th. Fly ball, right center. And Grisham's there to make the play. You know, I'm thinking, Paul, how important the Grisham play to end the fifth was. The Yankees might not have that same inning of sixth if they're trailing.
You know, I agree. Like I said, I mean, there are times you see great diving plays, but you put them in that situation where, you know, you can take the lead or something and it saves runs. It just picks up the whole team.
Take another look. Such a good catch, last out of the inning.
Yeah, he covers a lot of ground with just getting great jumps and a good decision. You know, that's not an easy play. A sinking line drive in the day where you can lose it in the shirts. Just a great play from Grisham.
It's an excellent point because it doesn't really show up in the box score. It just shows up as a putout. But it's certainly a game potentially changing play. It's one of the reasons why I like some of the new metrics, WAR rankings, that factors in defense and plays like that you get credit for now. You know, WAR is not the foolproof, or, you know, it's not certainly flawed, but you know, it gives you a better measure on who helps you win the game. And that play, to Michael's point, certainly is a big part of this game.
Line drive. It is a base hit to left field. Second hit for Simeon and 3 at-bats.
Up here, Mendoza, this is what you want to see. We talked about Simeon. He has to be one of the guys who take off offensively. Have a little cutter or something coming in on him, and he just kind of cuts it. I see him pull his hands in, get the barrel of the baseball, and just line it to left field.
That's what you call alligator arms right there.
It's amazing how much you can adjust in that quick of a time as a hitter, knowing that you're beat. You got to pull your hands in, knowing if you're out in front to try to reach a little bit.
One 1-0 on Ewing. Single and a walk for the 21-year-old. Way out in front of that breaking ball. Well, there's some history with that name in New York.
You should be number 33, right? Just in honor. That guy on the right was pretty good too, Doc.
Unreal.
Remember the old ABA ball? Weren't they red, white, and blue, right?
Yep.
I remember having one of those as a little kid. I thought it was so cool because if you shot it correctly, you know, you could really see the spin on the ball. I guess
I thought that was ball 4.
By tonight we go to bed, we'll know who the Knicks play in the next round.
That's right. Cavs and the Pistons. One of those two will meet the Knicks. If it's the Cavs, game 1 will be at the Garden. And if it's the Pistons, game 1 will be in Detroit. Yarborough steps off.
Definitely caught a break on that last pitch off the plate. Got it called.
You step off most of the time, Coney, you're just lost conviction of the pitch. You're just confused. You just need a break. You step off between pitches.
Part of that is maybe your grip. It's warm today, 89, almost 90 degrees. Part of it is you didn't like the pitch selection. Right. You had your second guessing it.
Fouled off the foot of Ewing.
Funny you mentioned that because, you know, I'm thinking as a hitter, you're trying to put yourself in the position the same every single time when the ball is in the hitting area. As a pitcher, you're trying to change things every other pitch, in, out, up, down, movement. So there's a lot more adjusting as a pitcher than a hitter.
Yeah, the hitter, obviously, you know, you're in a reactionary mode, right? You react to what comes to you. Pitcher dictates the pace, dictates everything.
This will be the 8th pitch coming up. And he worked the walk. Tell you what, Paul, you've got to be impressed with Ewing. He's 21 years old. Hasn't had much time at AAA at all before the Mets called him out, really out of necessity. But this is his first taste of the Subway Series. He doesn't seem as if he's flustered at all.
Yeah, you know, some kids you just look at and like, wow, you can tell he's just a full baseball player. Ton of speed. He swings the bat well, steals bases. I mean, he's a bright future.
Yankees go to the bullpen. That'll do it for Yarborough. We'll be back. Well, tomorrow the Yankees are back in the Bronx, and they kick off a 4-game set with the Toronto Blue Jays. Extended coverage starts at 5 with 2 full hours of pregame leading up the first pitch at 7:05. It's on Yes and, of course, the Gotham Sports app. Looking forward to that series. Well, the Yankees bring in Jake Bird, and the Mets send up Luis Torrens to pinch hit for Senga. And a strike from Bird. Torrens essentially is the everyday catcher with the injury to Alvarez. Mets have first and second, 1 man out. Bottom of the 6th inning. Did he go? No, said Dan Iassogna. Sliced inside first and down the right field line. Semien scores. Ewing rounding third. They'll wave him home. He scores. It's a pinch hit 2-run double for Torrens. And the Mets come right back. It's 5-3 Yanks.
Well, Torrens, I mean, it's actually a decent slider, but the location ends up right over the middle of the plate. This ball's got to get away. He just shoots it the other way. Talking about how important it is to try to throw up a zero. Well, and that's right back into the game.
That was really good hitting. I mean, to get inside of that pitch, it's coming in the front door on a slider. I mean, that's hard to do that. So he deserves credit. And we got a ball game.
Here's Carson Bench. And a strike. So that double was awakened the Met crowd. Right back in it. One and one.
You know, it doesn't look like much, Coney, right there. They're going to waste such an important pitch, though. If you're going to just live with that slider, you've got to show a fastball in off the plate at some point.
One and two.
And a back-to-back cutters there. That's what he's worked on all offseason for left-handed batters.
Foul back.
And you think about the slider and the cutter from the vision of a lefty. you can really pick up the spin very well on the slider. And, you know, a good slider is going to get you out of anything, but a bad slider, you really pick it up. With a cutter, you don't pick it up as well. So it's almost like a fastball that just comes in at the end. But I think it's much more difficult to control. Not everybody's Mariano Rivera.
Did he go? No, he did not. Jonathan Parra, the third baseman. And he did hold up. Stays alive.
Well, he showed him everything he has. Sweeper there. Tried a curveball. He laid off of a couple of cutters. The more pitches you see, the advantage usually goes to the hitter.
Right in on the hands.
And that's a good cutter right there, Coney. That gets your attention as a lefty. And you talked about it. You use it as a lefty. Gee, there's far less spin, and it ends up just coming in on the label. And now you're conscious of that inside corner where if you have control of that backdoor breaking ball, you've really opened the door out there.
This will be the 8th pitch. Still 2-2. So Banks putting together a nice at bat against Bird. Now at least a 10-pitch at bat. Number 10 coming up.
There was that backdoor breaking ball. Looked like he was trying to get there, but he left it up. And, you know, that gives you an opportunity to foul that ball off.
Yeah, Bench had a pretty good swing at it.
Work the count full. Swing and a miss. Bird finally wins the battle. An 11-pitch battle.
It's really the first ball that he got down in the strike zone, Coney, and he got a swing and a miss. Just good location, down and in. Lefties love the pitch, but everything in that at-bat seemed like the upper part of the strike zone where he finally put him away, down and in.
Got the chase. Yeah, good shape.
Here's Bo Bichette. Runner at second, now 2 outs. Foul back. One and one. Those numbers not kind in these situations for Bo.
That's where you want him to stay. If you're Bird and the Yankees, you want to leave him on deck.
Fly ball right center. And Grisham makes the play, so Bird gets out of further trouble, but the Mets close it to within 2. Now it's time for a segment that we like to call Ezra. What do we like to call it?
About that.
Yeah, it's about Mark Piento's favorite Met growing up was David Wright, and he wore number 5 in youth baseball as a tribute. Modeled his swagger after A-Rod and Manny Machado because of their shared Miami roots, and loves playing competitive ping pong, and even has a dedicated table at home. So Mark Supreme. And there's David Wright, his number retired.
Swaggy V you're talking about.
That's right. That's all the way to the backstop. 1-0 on Judge. I'm just guessing, Paul. We've never talked. I bet you're good at ping pong.
I love ping pong. Used to love ping pong.
Really?
We had special rules. You better be good ping pong player when you grew up with 4 older brothers.
Right.
And you play, if you scored a point, you got to swat the other guy in the butt. So it was you better be good.
With the paddle?
With the paddle.
A little added touch.
Learn to play with pressure early in life.
And I bet your brothers took great joy in applying that paddle.
Thank you. May I have another?
Exactly.
Ground it. Bichette. 1 down. So that brings up Bellinger against Manaea. Ground ball, foul. So on the left sleeve for the Mets, it says Davey. There's Davey Johnson, manager of their '86 championship team, passed away. That one's lined in the center field, a base hit. And David, you played for a lot of really good managers. How did Davey rank?
I love Davey Johnson. He was great for young pitching. I don't think he ever got enough credit for showing confidence in that young pitching staff. Dwight Gooden, Ron Darling, Sid Fernandez. He kept running them out there and allowed them to grow on the job. And that's how they won that '86 World Series championship, because Davey Johnson developed that pitching staff. And a 20-year-old Dwight Gooden.
You just mentioned Sid Fernandez, Doc Gooden, and Darling. It's just like I'm on the plane. That sounds like an 0 for 12 for me flying into New York, right?
There's a ball to Chisholm.
Dwight Gooden at that age was just incredible, the way he threw a baseball.
He was the only pitcher other than Nolan Ryan that, you hear the old cliche that you can hear the baseball. And Gooden had that ability. He threw so hard up in the zone. Sometimes when he would throw that curveball, you thought it was going in the stands. It was flipping out of his hand, and the next thing you know, he'd break over the middle of the plate. He was, at times, the best I'd ever seen.
Got a shot there of Ron Darling in the SNY booth. One-on-one out here in the 7th. Yankees lead 5-3. And that one is punched into center field, a base hit. Bellinger will stop at second. Ewing gets the ball in. That was an odd piece of hitting. He just waited and waited and waited and finally hit the ball. Take a look at young Doc.
Watch his leg kick up to his chin. That's just gas. I watched him throw 97 one night, all night long on the old ray gun, and that is Lord Charles. And that is cheddar, I'm telling you. You talk about guys, they throw harder nowadays. There's more harder throwers. Dwight Gooden in his prime threw upper 90s all night long.
3-time world champion, 85 Cy Young, and pitching triple crown. Rookie of the year in '84, at the age of 20. Ryan McMahon, first batter that Manaea faced, he laid down a sac bunt, set up that inning for the Yankees as they scored 4.
I'll never forget Jeff Treadway. He was a little second baseman for us in Cincinnati, and he had a nice, perfect drag bunt off Doc Gooden. I mean, Doc was dealing. He got a base hit, and he's out running, the day after he pitches. And next time up, he smoked Treadway right in the leg. And I was in the right field. He was running. And I'm like, wow, Doc. I said, what's that? He said, man bunts on me, I'm taking a leg. And he did too. He kind of mellowed out a little bit, but he was mean right when he got in the game.
McMahon into left field, coming on. Taylor makes the play. Interesting note about that sac bunt by McMahon. First Yankee sac bunt all year. Not what they do.
Yeah, and first and second in that spot, they had a master plan. They really did. Aaron Boone went to the bullpen early. He had that plotted out. He knew exactly the hitters he'd use on that bench in that inning, and it paid off.
Here's Max Schumann, who came in as a pinch runner for Goldschmidt after Goldschmidt was hit by a pitch. Yankee bench is empty right now. There's no other moves for Aaron Boone. The moves he has to make, that'll be the bullpen. How to get the final 9 outs. First and second, 2 outs. Inside to Schumann, 1-0. So all the moves that he made in that 6th inning certainly paid off. And he emptied the bench in order to do it. Now the only thing you worry about is somebody gets injured.
The pitch was ruled a strike. The hitter's challenging.
Schumann wants to challenge that strike call. And he gets it right.
Call's overturned. New York Yankees have 2 challenges remaining.
That's big from 2-1 to 3-0.
Yeah. This pitch was clearly high. I mean, you got to be, if you're coming off the bench as Schumann, you got to be pretty sure if you're going to challenge a pitch, and he was.
Torrens did a great job of framing that high pitch there to Howie Rose's point.
So there's a walk to load the bases. I'm telling you what, if ABS was around when O'Neill played, he'd be happier. He would invite umpires to his house for Christmas. It would be a completely different vibe.
We would have just had better relations.
Yes.
You know?
Big day for Anthony Volpe. Been through a lot of talk, the injuries, a couple of big hits today. That has to feel good for him after everything he's been through.
I mean, when you fight your way back, you think in your mind, I'm ready, and then you get here, you don't get a couple games with no hits, and then you start questioning, am I ready? And then you get a big game as he's had today. It just kind of gives you some wings, as they'd say.
Yeah, and he got a chance to add on right here in this at-bat.
So 2 for 3 for Volpe. A double and a 2-run single. That was in the 6th inning. And that was against Mania. So a second look at the Mets left-hander. Started as a starter. Has been kind of demoted to the bullpen. Oh, 2.
I think once Mania gave up the lead, I think Mendoza's kind of in the same spot. You might as well use this arm as long as you can because you've got no days off coming up this week.
One and 2. One, 2. 2 and 2. No place to put Anthony Volpe.
With 2 outs, bases loaded, you could really help things for the Yankees with a big hit right here to kind of break this game open.
Three and 2. Well, you can start the merry-go-round. The runners will go 3-2 and 2 outs. Yankees could give their bullpen some insurance right here. They're up by 2 in the 7th. Runners go 3-2. Way outside. Volpe walks. That'll force in a run. Bellinger touches home plate, and the Yankees lead 6-3. That's the 6th walk for Volpe since he came up. First one today.
Well, for a 3-2 pitch, I mean, you talk about not even being close. That ball was in the other batter's box. So here's Wells.
And that's right back to Manaea. And that will do it as the inning ends. But the Yankees score a run on 2 hits. They leave the bases loaded. After 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. Yankees lead this game 6-3, but we're going to stay right here as we honor America in Queens.
Fans, if you are able, please rise and remove your caps as we honor our nation and all the women and men who help keep us safe and free with the singing of God Bless America. Please welcome NYPD Officer Heather Austin.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Once again, Heather Austin.
Time for your Ford Studio Update. Bob and Jack with you. On the pregame, we talked about the Yankees collecting better at bats, and they've certainly done that in the last couple innings.
Yeah, especially Anthony Volpe, Bob. Long journey for Volpe back to the major leagues this season. Last year, he was 3 for 17 in bases-loaded situations. The last 2 innings, he's got a 2-run single and a bases-loaded walk, both off Manaea. And with that single, first pitch slider, Manaea doesn't throw that often. Volpe jumped on it.
Bullpen got to stick to it. We'll see you guys on the postgame.
Thank you, Bob and Jack. 6-5-0 for the Yanks, 3-8-1 for the Mets. Elmer Rodriguez went 4 1/3. Anthony Volpe, as we just talked about, has had a big day. Freddie Peralta lasted 5+, and Luis Torrens had a big pinch hit 2-run double of Jake Bird. Now the Yankees go to Camilo Doval. And the pitch to Soto was high. Soto 1 for 3. Now, Doval ran into trouble yesterday. Let a runner on, and he's really slow to the plate, and sometimes doesn't even seem if he's paying attention. So it's important for him not to let runners on.
It was an odd stat, Michael, and it really caught me by surprise. You don't have to think about Juan Soto being a base stealer. He led the league in bases last year, 38 stolen bases. The most he had ever had before was 12. Just out of nowhere, he stole 38 bases.
Yeah, he got into a good rhythm with the then first base coach and base running coach Anton Richardson, who's now with the Braves.
Did not see that coming.
Mm-hmm.
What was the Jose Canseco line on Will Clark? The 3-toed sloth, they called him?
I know he might not have been able to run, but boy, he had a pretty swing.
Yes, he could hit.
Yankees up 6-3. We're in the bottom of the 7th. Grounded foul. Sinker 100 miles an hour. David, how come sometimes you see a sinker and it's up in the zone?
He's a high velocity guy, and he's not a command guy, so that thing can go anywhere, really.
That's not a good thing.
He's winging it in there, man, as hard as he can.
Jazz Chisholm. They retire Soto. Let's take a look at the pitching decisions presented by Sage.
Well, we're going to come in the game, going to miss up. You know, these are two-seamers just running. You know, high velocity, misses again, and he's going to come all the way back. Yeah, the 3-0 pitch, you get the call. Then a little cutter, kind of switched up there. That set it all up. Then back to the sinker in, and then right there. Heavy bowling ball sinker. Gets him on the ground.
Here's Vientos, 2 for 3. One time the Yankees got him was in the first inning. A nice lunging play by Spencer Jones in right field. One and one.
The pitch was ruled a strike. The hitter's challenging.
All right, so Vientos going to challenge that strike call. See if he's right. He's right.
The call is overturned. The New York Mets have one challenge remaining.
So the Mets retain their one challenge that's left, and the Yankees still have both of their challenges because their challenges have been successful. That was a strike. Three and one. Three-two. Just rearing back and throwing. Fernando Cruz heating up for the Yanks.
Coney, you look at Dotel, and his stuff just does not equate to the numbers. You know, he should just shut down teams. And I'm looking at possibly everything hard, really not break this way. It's just everything's kind of in the same velocity range.
Right there is Chisholm. Doval a little upset that he missed on it. But Chisholm was played perfectly for Vientos.
The thing about Duvall is that when he gets ahead, then you can throw that slider. He has a pretty decent slider that you can get some swing and misses and chase with. But if you don't get ahead, it's hard to use that pitch. But he's got a real long arm delivery and a lot of rotation to his deliveries as well. A lot of spin. Starts off closed, a lot of rotation, and a real long arm. Watch how long his arm is. You contrast that to somebody like a Lucas Giolito, the real short arm action. This is the opposite. This is sort of old school, really reach long down a wide circle with his arm arc.
Left field, Schumann reaches up to make the play. Took a step in, but then recovered to haul it in for the final out. So Doval works a 1-2-3. Tuesday on Yes, host Gracie Cashman sits down with the former New York Rangers goaltender Mike Richter for a deep dive into the numbers that defined his career. Watch The Story of My Number, presented by the New York Lottery. Tuesday following Yankees coverage on Yes and the Gotham Sports app. A good time of the ball game. Manaea is still in there and deals a strike to Trent Grisham. Both teams really used a lot of their bullpens yesterday, and you could see the way Mendoza is working this. You know, he's trying to get some length out of Manaea because Peralta just doesn't give you length. He's a really good pitcher, but you know the old phrase "5 and fly." This time it was 5 and a couple of batters on fly. Announced crowd here at Citi Field, 40,232 on this Sunday afternoon. Beautiful, beautiful afternoon. And Grisham waves at that one. One away. That'll bring up Ben Rice. He had a home run in the third. Let's take a look at the exit velocity on that, presented by Spectrum. 102 off the bat. Traveled a good distance, 409 feet. His 15th home run of the year. He's 1 for 4. Manaea deals. Ground ball first base. Vientos takes it himself. 2 down.
You know, looking around the league this year, the Braves are back.
Mm-hmm.
They're up on the Red Sox 7-0 today. They have the best record in baseball, so 31-15 coming in. It's going to be tough in the National League East as the Mets in last place now. Currently 11.5 games behind those Braves. You can kind of see that coming. All the injuries they had last year. They had a nucleus of a good team. Fell on hard times last year. They were poised for a comeback, and so far this year they have.
It's funny, on the other side of that, and I agree 100% on the Atlanta, you saw some of their star players hurt. Now their pitching's back and the star players are back. But you kind of expected the same thing out of Baltimore. You know, they'll bounce back. You know, they got a lot of you. They're nowhere close where they were a couple years ago.
Still looking for pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Paul, you have to be happy. Cap has done a good job since taking over the Phillies.
You know, you can only root for guys like Cap. And, you know, he went over there, obviously, Philadelphia, expecting to win. And sometimes you just got to make a change. Robbie Thompson, we loved him, too. It's just somebody's got to take the fall.
Yankees go down 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the 8th.
Welcome back. Fernando Cruz on the mound as we head to the bottom of the 8th. Michael, you mentioned a few innings ago that Major League Baseball's Play Ball initiative to reach out to local youth is in a couple of weeks. Well, Fernando Cruz and J.C. Escarra were busy a couple days ago getting in on that action. They both took part in a skills clinic here, and no better guys to get out there with the kids. Both incredibly positive, love giving back to the game. Both almost found themselves out of baseball, had a battle to get themselves back in it and into the majors. Really cool moment. You saw the smiles on the faces of the kids, just happy to be there with some big leaguers, Michael.
And you're right, Meredith. Two better guys you cannot find for something like that. They are always up. They're always happy, always smiling. They appreciate every day to be at this level and to be on this team. So 2-0 on Beatty as Cruz, the 5th Yankees pitcher. Popped up. And Jazz waits for it to come down into his glove. 1 away.
To me, that's the key for Fernando Cruz, especially when you're facing left-handed batters. If you can challenge him inside with your fastball, it just opens up the forkball for you. Fastball in, forkball. Right there, perfect. Jam shot in.
Here's Marcus Semien, who's 2 for 3. And he pops it up. Cruz looks like he wants it, but here comes Rice, and Cruz goes down, and Rice almost stepped on him.
That's a way to get out of the way. Just hit the deck.
Seemed like he didn't want it, David. Didn't want to make that catch.
He showed some bravado, though. And the bravado is there. I like the pitch, too. A slider. That's a new little wrinkle. I like to see him use that to get strikes, to take some pressure off of that great splitter. But, yeah, a little bravado early, and then, hey.
You saw him peek in at the catcher. Wells didn't want anything to do with it either. I mean, the sun, if Wells catches it, might be an issue if he turns his body.
So here's the youngster, A.J. Ewing. 2 walks and a single, and there's a strike. This is the 30th season. You'll see Cruz tries to get out of the way. Almost got kicked in the head. 30th season of the Subway Series. David, you were there at the beginning. So were you, Paul.
Yeah. Malicki was the first game, right?
Dave Malicki.
He shut us down. I remember that.
So the Yankee record against the Mets, 88-71. That includes the 2000 World Series.
Yeah, if I had to take a few games that I thought were a little more important than the Subway Series, it was the actual Subway Series, the World Series games. I think they count a little more.
A little stress behind those games.
Oh, boy.
I'll never forget in the Subway Series of 2000, walking up to the clubhouse. I was in the bullpen then, and you were batting. And George Steinbrenner was sitting in the clubhouse with furniture that he had moved over there and rearranged everything and was yelling at the TV, yelling at the umpire. He was so into it. Just like you'd think. It was like a Seinfeld episode.
That's one thing I always appreciated about Mr. Steinbrenner is he, he was competitive. There's some owners that, they run it as a business. They hope they win, but he was competitive. He expected to win every single day.
He was pacing around the clubhouse.
Yes.
And again, A.J. Ewing on
The
base
pitch was thrown the ball. The
4
catcher's
times.
challenging.
But the Yankees going to challenge that ball for call.
Yeah, that ball looked in at all. It was close, but you might as well use it.
Ball confirmed, ball 4. The Yankees have one challenge remaining.
It was Torrenz's double his last time up. It got the Mets back in this game.
Well, with Benj on deck, there's a lefty. You got Tim Hill up in the bullpen. So this is Cruz's last hitter.
Mets have one more righty on the bench, Austin Slater, and they have a switch hitter, Vidal Brujan. Ewing has a really big lead at first. So there's the 2 throws.
Coney is a pitcher. I mean, you've got 2 outs. That run means nothing. You get the hitter. You don't allow yourself to get that invested on the run on first base.
Center field. Grisham's there, and a scoreless inning for Fernando Cruz. We go to the 9th. Yankees up by 3. Well, it's time for the Range Rover Sport Dynamic Performer. We have 2 of them.
Well, you see Spencer Jones in right field, a natural center field that just shows his athletic ability, but the game-changing play comes later in the 5th inning. 2 outs. Grisham makes a tremendous diving catch, which really set up the big rally for the Yankees in the 6th.
6-3 Yankees lead. This is the rubber game of the 3-game set. And Bellinger takes the ball. Manaea is still in there. He's thrown 50 pitches in relief. Popped up. And Vientos with the call on the catch.
Hear a little extra roar in the crowd on those pop-ups nowadays over here.
David Bednar try to get the final 3 outs for the Yanks. pitch, the Jazz is outside 1-0. 6-5-0 for the Yanks. 3-8-1 for the Mets. 2 up for the Mets. Top of the order, Benj, Bichette, and Soto. 1-1. One and 2 on Chisholm. He's reached base 3 times. He struck out in the first, walked in the second and the sixth, or the third and the sixth, and then singled in the seventh. Two and 2. Served into left field. Nice piece of hitting by Jazz Chisholm. He picks up a single with 1 out. Congratulations, by the way, to Cam Schlittler on being voted the Montefiore Einstein Player of the Week. And why not? The guy impresses every time he goes out there. Against Milwaukee, no decision, 6 innings, no runs. And against the Mets, 6 2/3 innings on Friday night. Give up 1 run. That was the opposite field home run by Soto. He's just been outstanding, and a career-high 106 pitches thrown in that game.
The beauty of Cam is that he gets deep into the games because he throws so many strikes. He doesn't walk guys. He's so aggressive.
Hit sharply. Oh, grabbed there by Simeon. There's one. On to first. It's a double play off the bat of McMahon. That'll do it in the 9th inning for the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Mets down by 3. Time to find the answer to Name That Yankee. Here are the clues. The answer, it's a marvelous player. Marvelous. Marvelous Marv Throneberry. Actually had some power, but he was prone to mistakes on the field. There he is with the Yankees. And part of the amazing Mets at the start. Home run there in the Polo Grounds, I think.
Mark, I'm not going to lie. I didn't know that. I had no clue. None.
First player to play for both the Yankees and the Mets. Traded to the Casey Athletics in the Roger Maris deal.
Wow.
And played a self-deprecating role in the Miller Lite ads in the 70s and the 80s. So he's the first player to play for the Mets and the Yankees. And in total, 176 players played for both the Mets and the Yankees. One of them sitting in the booth, and it's not Paul.
Yeah.
David Bednar deals inside the bench. Save situation for Bednar, who's 10 for 11 in these spots. Got a little sweaty in the Friday game. Not a save situation. We got the requisite outs he needed. 2-0.
Now, do those players, Michael, that played for both, does that count the managers too?
It doesn't count the managers, but there are a couple. Dallas Green, Casey,
Willie Randolph.
Well,
Joe
Willie
Torre?
didn't manage the Yanks. Joe Torre.
Buck Showalter, indeed.
And the manager of the Mets now, as I mentioned earlier, 15 years in the Yankee organization, still very close with Aaron Boone. They commiserate with each other in phone calls and texts. Two. Looped into left center field. It's a base hit. So Carson Benz starts it off with a single here in the 9th against Bednar.
Well, a good four-seam fastball. I've seen a lot of jam shots today, Conan. This ball in off the label, but again, if you stay level through the strike zone, you're able to fight this ball off. Base hit.
Well, you want to keep Bichette off the bases. You don't want to have Soto come up as a tying run. And here is Bichette. Benz leads off first. Up the middle, and they didn't keep him off base. So a single for Bichette, and now Soto does come up as the tying run.
Right down the middle, right back up the middle.
Early in the count, Bo Bichette has always been a guy extremely aggressive. You don't get a kind of a charity strike. He doesn't set up at bats. He comes out of the batters. He comes into the batter's box wailing. And now all of a sudden, what looked like a comfortable lead is one swing away.
Soto 1 for 4. Jumps on the first pitch and fouls it off. Singled in the first inning, then struck out in the fourth. Tapped one in front of the plate in the fifth, and then grounded to second in the seventh.
And this is where Soto becomes extremely dangerous because, there's really, well, you can't let him pull the ball. He can drive it. Well, he can go the other way just as easy as he did the other night. So
that clips the outside corner. 0-2.
Back-to-back splitters to jump ahead here for Bednar. No panic from Soto, though, when he gets down 0-2.
Show you the life of a manager. So, in the Yankees 4-on-6, Boone pressed every right button. Everybody he's brought in from the bullpen, essentially the right button. Now it all comes down to Bednar executing. When you hand the lead to your closer, you've done your job. Now it's up to Bednar. 1-2.
That's why every manager gets gray hair very soon into their tenure or loses it.
I don't know what he gets him out with. He's seen so many splitties, Coney, that you almost think that Soto, you're going to have to do something else, and that becomes dangerous if you want to throw that curveball.
Grounded to first. Rice goes to second one. On to first. Soto beat it out. Beat out the double play. So moving to third is Benj. Soto reaches on the fielder's choice.
Well, it's good that Rice, he took his time. Make sure you get that front out. Don't try to do be a hero and start a rally here. But Soto gets out of the box pretty well.
Yeah, good job by Bednar getting over there, at least making it close.
Now here's Vientos. He's dangerous. He has 6 home runs. He's 2 for 3 or 2 for 4 today. And robbed of a base hit by Spencer Jones in the first inning.
You see that curveball kind of comes into effect a lot more with Soto not being at the plate. I mean, this is a much better matchup. You see the grip he uses with that.
Got his thumb up, kind of up or tucked a little bit, yes.
You could almost, I've seen that before, and it's one of the grips as a hitter you can almost pick up. It's that different.
Now, do the Mets send Soto to stay out of a double play? Right now, the tying run is at home plate. Another good breaking ball, 0-2. You go back to it again, David?
Well, the problem here is, you see, there's the thumb Paul's talking about. It's almost behind the ball a little bit. It's way up on the ball. You definitely got, if you throw another curveball here, you got to make it a chase one. You can't leave it in the zone on 0-2. You got to go for a chase.
Soto goes. Swing and a miss. Vientos down. Soto moves to second on the stolen base, and there's 2 away.
Well, he went for the chase, Coney, but he went for the high fastball out of the strike zone. Pretty smart pitch. Really very hard to stay on top of this and do anything with it, especially when it's the first fastball you've seen in the count.
Yeah, Vientos in swing mode all the way.
Now comes down to Taylor. Driven deep to left field. If it's fair, it's a tie game. It is gone. A 3-run home run. Taylor has tied the game.
Well, Taylor made a kind of a defensive error earlier in the game, but I guess this picks him up. Again, I think he went to the well a lot here with that curveball, and this one just kind of hung. And the hope was that he hooked it foul, and it stayed fair.
So a blown save by Bednar. And that'll bring up Beatty.
Tried to get a first pitch curveball over for a strike. The problem is in this spot, that particular pitch is dangerous, and he paid the price. Trying to get a strike. First pitch curveball, and it stays in. That's the problem when you go for a first pitch curveball on a righty in this ballpark. You allow him to get the bat head out in front. One swing ties the game. That's why the old school theory was stay away in this spot. Everything should be away. Don't leave anything on the inner half, especially off speed, because that's what happens.
There's ball four, so now the winning run is on first base in the person of Brett Beatty. So in his first 38 games with the Yankees, Bednar's allowed 2 home runs. Now he's allowed 2 home runs in the last 4 games.
Well, none bigger than this one right here with a 3-run lead. All of a sudden now tied the game up. Beatty can run. Only a couple stolen bases on the year.
Yeah, you got to pitch to the scoreboard.
Right.
In this spot. You just can't get into your normal pitch mix. Okay, first pitch curveball, let me get a strike here and go about your work. No, in this spot, you cannot make that mistake there. You got to be away with everything. You can't let one swing tie it up. If it has to go the other way. If he takes you out of the ballpark the other way, then you tip your cap. But you did him a favor right there.
So here's Simeon, 6-6. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, runner on first. Beatty with 2 stolen bases. 0-1. Foul ball. One-two. Popped up. Rice retreats in foul territory. And he makes the play for the final out. But a blown save by Bednar, a 3-run home run by Taylor, and now we go to the 10th, tied at 6. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by Hyundai. Hyundai gives you America's best warranty on every new vehicle. Visit Hyundai.com for more information. By Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. And by Sage, proud accounting software provider of the New York Yankees. We talked about the managers who manage both of these teams on each side of town. This guy is one of the 176 players that play for both teams. Devin Williams closed out yesterday's game. And now the inherited runner at second base is Ryan McMahon. The Yankees have not done well in extra innings on the road since this rule came into play. Here's Schumann. Paul, I don't like that play in extra innings on the road.
Yeah,
you need more than one run.
I agree. There are times, and it worked out really well in the 6th inning. But right here, you've got to try to win the game, because you've got to assume that the Mets, with a runner on second starting the inning, are going to score also.
Two and 0. Well, here are the numbers. They are 29-15 at home in extra innings. That's the best in baseball. They're 16-30 on the road, second worst in the majors to the White Sox, who are 12-23. 2-0 on Schumann. There's a strike from Devin Williams. Volpe on deck. He has squared 4 times, and the count 2-2.
Yeah, those pitches are right down the middle. I don't know that he's not trying to fake it. He's just not making an attempt to bunt.
So he swung at the 2-2 pitch. Didn't want to bunt with 2 strikes. If you hit a foul ball, then it's a strikeout. Timeout by Schumann. We're in the 10th inning. Looked like the Yankees had this game in hand, but their closer, David Bednar, could not hold it. Gave up a 3-run game-tying home run to Taylor just inside the left field foul pole. And now we're in the 10th inning. Rip foul.
It's impossible to hit that pitch to the right side. That changeup moving in on
like
you.
A screwball. It just kind of goes sideways in on a righty.
You can see Schumann. He's trying to do the job. You want to advance the runner, but that changeup, you just can't. You have to pull it.
2-2. Swing and a miss, got him on the changeup. So nothing good happened in that at bat.
Yeah, that was a strange at bat. Scoring the bunt for 4 pitches, and it was 2-2. And then you get this good changeup, as Coney said, just keeps running in. You try to stay inside of it, and you just don't do it.
Williams went 1-2-3 in the 9th for the save last night. He had an ERA over 10 in late April, but he strung together 8 scoreless games after what pitching coach Justin Willard called, quote, minor tweaks. Signed a 3-year, $51 million deal with the Mets in December. Runner goes to third. No throw. Pitches high. So stolen base is second for McMahon.
Wow, that's a good job by McMahon. Just kind of timing. And Williams really doesn't even double look back there. Just kind of gives him third base.
He had a very slow delivery to home.
Mets bring the infield in. 2-1. Tim Hill warming for the Yanks. Three and one. On deck, the struggling Austin Wells. Three and one to Volpe. Through the fastball, 3-2.
We got that one by him, Coney. It's almost like that changeup is so in the back of your mind that you are almost surprised that you see a fastball, even at a fastball count.
And he walked him. Another walk for Volpe, his 7th since being called up. So he has 2 hits and 2 walks. And now a trip to the mound to talk with Williams.
It's ironic because that's a part of Volpe's game that's kind of been lacking the last couple of years, really, his ability to get on base more, high on base percentage. The power's been there. At times the defense has been really great. But the on base percentage has been the part that's kind of the missing link for him. And what a change in that so far to the start of the season for him.
Just a note, the last time the Mets won a game when trailing after 8 innings, you have to go back to the Pete Alonso game in the 2024 playoffs when he hit the home run off the guy on the mound. They are 0-91 when trailing through 8 since last season. So does Volpe go with Wells at the plate? Wells in need of a big hit. The Yankees are as well. Ground it to first. There's one. On to first, it's a double play. Wells continues to struggle. He is now 2 for his last 23 as he bangs into a 6-3 double play. So the Yankees don't score in the top of the 10. The Mets turn in the bottom. Well, fans, after the final out, get highlights, analysis, clubhouse interviews, and we'll hear from the manager. Plus, a look ahead to the series with the Blue Jays. That's all coming up on the W.B. Mason Yankees postgame.
A pitch up and out of the zone that Wells gets on top of. Devin Williams is fired up. And rightly so.
Well, it's back-to-back games with the Yankee bullpen allowing 3 or more runs. Before last night, they only had 7 such games, tied with the Giants and Padres for the fewest in the majors. So Tim Hill's going to come on. Marcus Semien is the Manfred man. And that's the winning run. And here's a youngster, A.J. Ewing. 1 for 1 with 3 walks. Now, this is a situation where you would bunt because all you need is that run to score. Yankees expecting it. Rice in on the grass at first. McMahon in on the grass at third. Yankees had the wheel play on. Jazz was checking back Semien and then ran all the way to first base to cover with Rice charging.
That's exactly what that is. You can see Jazz breaking, Volpe to third, crashing hard. Comes McMahon.
You know, back to what you were talking about earlier, Coney, your ability to bunt. I mean, here's a young kid that has been leading the league in hitting in AAA. How often does he bunt? But now you're in a huge situation against a lefty trying to put down a good bunt.
They are challenging him to swing the bat, to pull it back and swing. Anytime you see a full wheel play on and the first baseman and third baseman crashing hard at you, you can't bunt. You've got to pull it back and slash. Even as a pitcher, we were taught that. The late, great Buddy Harrelson taught me that. Even as a pitcher, if you see these guys crashing on you, you pull it back and try to do the butcher boy.
Right.
And just put the ball on the ground somewhere and make contact.
It's a good setup, really, if you pull the bat back, because Tim Hill's not a strikeout pitcher. He's a sinker. You know, you can put the ball in play.
And it's bunted. It's a beautiful bunt. Jazz will receive the throw, and the winning run moves to third. So it's 2-4 on the sacrifice for Ewing.
Boy, that took a perfect bunt, and it was. That's what it took, and he got it done, so give him credit. But you have to deaden it, putting it right there, because that's the only spot. And he did. High degree of difficulty. Mission accomplished.
Well, Aaron Boone's coming out to the mound, and he's carrying a glove. So one of the outfielders is going to come in and make it 5 infielders. Yankees will bring the infield in. Luis Torrens is the hitter. Schumann will come in to play the infield. Yankees will have 3 infielders on the left side, 2 on the right side. Nobody playing left field. Bellinger is in right. Grisham shades toward right center. If he pulls the ball in the air, the ball game is over. Nobody in left field. 5 infielders in. Bottom of the 10th inning. Winning run is at third for the Mets.
Courtney, do you think of intentionally walking to set up? I mean, Torrance is struggling hitting, but, you know, infield, you get 5 men on the infield.
I mean, that's a little gutsy. I mean,
with the infield in, it's going to be tough to go for a double play anyway. So it's, you know, you're putting all the pressure on Hill to try to keep this ball in the infield.
Pulled, foul.
Certainly an option that Boone has.
Bench is on deck with pretty good speed, so it'd be tough to double him up. Torrance has had 2 career walk-offs, last time with Seattle in 2022 against the Yankees. A single off Jonathan Loaizaga. Two and 2. Now, David Hill's not a strikeout pitcher. Does he go for a strikeout here?
No. Yeah, he's going for ground ball. He's trying to keep the ball down. It's not like he's got a swing and miss pitch. You know, he doesn't have a nasty slider or a nasty splitter. He's got a really good sinker that he throws over and over again.
You know, I saw him shake off there. He's really only had 2 pitches. So obviously he's just wanting, as you said, to keep the ball on the ground.
Unless they're talking about location or...
He also signaled that he could not hear with the PitchCom device. That's why the umpire's out there in the conference. All coming down to this 6-6 game, bottom of the 10th, runner at third. Infield in, 2-2. Hit him. And he will take first base. Trying to come inside, he hit him.
Well, this is what happens. Now, do you play a little bit farther back in case you can get a double play ball, or you still? And now you have 2 options. Cody, do you walk bases loaded and give yourself a force and keep your 5 infielders in?
Well, Wells looking into the Yankee dugout to get some instructions.
Yeah, this one's a read. If you hit hard at a middle infielder, you have the option. But you see, they're going to play. Yeah, they're going to split the difference a little bit here now on the infield.
They will move Schumann to the right side now. Bellinger then goes to left field. Grisham stays in center. All of right field is open for Bench. 0-1.
This is straight play at home. How far they're playing in at this point, where they're positioned. Now, they may switch on the count on an 0-1 count.
So Bench really trying to pull that ball. You know, a lot of times lefties just stay in there, but with Bellinger moving over, right field is totally open.
That one's chopped up the middle. Going to be a tough play. They run into each other. Ball game over. Simeon scores, and the Mets come back to win 7-6. And what a gut punch loss for the New York Yankees. 1 out away. And the Taylor home run, and then that ground ball scoring Simeon, and the Yankees lose the series. They lose this game 7-6.
Yeah, there's games throughout the year that you remember that you should have won, and this is definitely one of them. You need to steal one back because this was a game that you thought you had in your holster, and it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, it stings, and there's not as if there's a lot of practice with 5 infielders. So this is something that you could see happening because those guys aren't used to playing so close together like that. They both go for the ball. If one of them came up with it cleanly, probably Schumann had the better angle. If he does, he probably has a play at home.
And the Mets, who have struggled all year, they celebrate this victory in the Subway Series. And again, the Yankees have not won a series at Citi Field since 2018, and they were 1 out away, and they don't win this one.
When you just dissect that game, I mean, there were great plays defensively, offensively to give them the lead. They just could not shut the door.
So the Mets win it in a walk-off in extra innings, 7-6 over the Yanks. Time for the game-changing drive of the game, brought to you by Audi and the all-new Audi Q3.
Well, Tyrone Taylor, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Breaking ball ties up the game. 1 pitch away from going home with a win for the Yankees.
Boy, was that a game-changing drive. Now, the Chevy player of the game.
Well, you know, when you think about getting a game-winning hit, this is probably not what you put your head on your pillow and think about, a little chopper up the middle, but you'll take it and run. So certainly, Mr. Carson Bench with the game-winning hit.
7-11-1, beating 6-6 in time of the game, 3-12. Devin Williams' his third win. Tim Hill his first loss. Anthony Volpe had a good game. Carson Bench walks it off with a fielder's choice. Coming up on the Yes Network, stay tuned for the WB Mason postgame show with Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry. Special thanks to producer Troy Benjamin, director Dan Barr, Mike Webb, and our executive producer is Jared Ames Boschnack. Join us again tomorrow as the Yankees return to the Bronx to begin a 4-game series against the Blue Jays. Coverage begins at 5 p.m. on Yes, with first pitch coming shortly after 7. Once again, the final score in 10 innings, the Mets 7 and the Yankees 6. For David Cohn, Paul O'Neill, and Meredith Morakovitz, I'm Michael Kay saying see you from Citi Field in Flushing, Queens. Now let's go to Bob Lorenz and Jack Curry, who are standing by in our Yes Network studios with the post-game show. Guys?